Wireless radio thingamajig technology is pretty awesome, powering things like internet doohickeys, phones, controllers, garage doors, and allows you to smash drones into things. But you know what's also wireless? Little plastic electric-powered RC cars. Now in this series on the channel I already talked about one related game, Stunt GP. In that video I dropped a name of a critically acclaimed game that is somewhat similar and, well, this is its very own video. Revolt! Developed and published by Acclaim in 1999, it was a game that featured a lot of miniature remote-controlled cars and, best of all, allowed you to drive them around. And blast each other with power-ups! Yeah, Revolt was a mixture of an RC simulator and a kart racer. The game offered various game modes. You could play a single custom race against the AI opponents, race in the championship in one of the 4 cups, play multiplayer with friends, run a time trial against a ghost to perfect your lap time, practice modes to drive around freely, and a stunt arena, which is a special level for stunting in an arena. After choosing a game mode, you'll be presented with a choice of 4 driving models, which either have more or less realistic collision systems and are faster or slower. My recommendation is to start with the Junior RC and gradually climb the speed ladder as you get more comfortable with the driving mechanics. You can then enter your name on a fancy arcade-like wheel menu using the arrow keys or just typing it in and finally select one of the 34 available cars. Or 8 if you just started the game. The thing is, in a lot of racing games you just have to play the championship to unlock cars. But here you can also get cars by finding stars in practice mode, which in turn teaches you the layouts of the tracks, shortcuts and stuff. You also get cars for single player races, championships and even collecting all 20 stars in the stunt arena. Or you could be little me and just enter cheat codes to unlock all of the stuff. There's a ton of variety between cars and they're pretty sweet looking models too. How they handle depends on 3 main stats: speed, acceleration and weight, but also on the type of transmission, whether it's front, rear or 4-wheel drive. The only stat that doesn't affect the gameplay is the class, which can be electric, glow or special. This only affects the sound engine of your car for the most part. But having a ton of cars would be pointless if they all drove the same. So how's the physics of the racing? Pretty good actually, and pretty hard. The cars drive very fast, accelerate fast and turn very sharply, which is fair considering we're talking about small lightweight cars with a tiny engine. Collisions and falling off from heights can cause them to easily spin out and lose all speed or even flip over. And if it sounds like it's hard to control these things, it's because it is, but it also feels satisfying once you get the hang of it. These cars were never meant to drive like real life ones. I personally find it to be good that they went for a more realistic approach instead of arcade physics, even at the expense of the difficulty level. What isn't so realistic are all the cool power-ups that you'll use to destroy your enemies. The tracks are loaded with little spinning lightning symbols that once picked up will select a random power-up in a typical kart racer fashion. Starting off, there's the battery, which will give you a temporary speed boost and make a cartoonish like supercharged sound effect when used. There's also a classic, an oil slick. It's pretty self-explanatory, but what I like about Revolt's implementation is that it doesn't matter how much your wheels drive through it, as it's possible to partially avoid the oil slick and just have 2 wheels slip instead of all 4. Next, we have an electro-zappy thingy. It will zap anyone who's in range and disable the engines for a brief period of time. There's also a big ball. Of course, there had to be also projectiles like fireworks that aim towards enemies and can send them flying, water balloons that cause the cars that are hit slide a little, and there's also a shockwave kind of thing which sends cars spinning right round. This power-up feels often pretty useless, as often cars flip back onto all 4s and continue driving like nothing ever happened. But out of all, nothing comes close to the bomb. It's a special pickup that automatically activates, turning your car into a driving bomb, with the antenna being diffused. You can pass the bomb to someone by simply bumping into them, but they can also do it to you. Fail to do so and... An evil power-up is the fake power-up. Once you leave one, it looks exactly like every other pickup, but whoever gets it explodes! It's almost like Michael Bay was in charge of the power-ups. And the final one is the Star, which, unlike others, has a different model. It's the most powerful, so it's well hidden during a race. Using it will cause every car on the level to shut down its engine for a moment, giving you a chance to either catch up or run away from the AI. Blowing up your opponents is pretty fun, and you'll do it across 13 themed tracks. You'll visit the suburbs, malls, toylands, museums, the Wild West. Revolt is surprisingly diverse with its settings, unlike Stunt GP, and the levels are uniquely handcrafted, very visual distinct. My favorite part might be driving down the keyboard in the toy track. Absolutely cool to this day. And if 13 tracks is not enough, you can also drive them reverse mirrored or reverse mirrored. The way they designed some tracks would prevent the player to play it in reverse, so a lot of tracks have alternate paths to solve this problem. This actually makes a lot of difference in some levels, causing them to feel like a different track, slightly inflating the available numbers and the variety. The only thing I have a problem with is this soundtrack, which is very generic techno. While the track in the main menu is pretty cool, the rest of them just feel meh. They're okay as background music, but nothing you'd really want to listen outside of the game. For dessert, the game features also a track editor outside of the game, but it's very simplistic and not very customizable, causing the tracks to look kind of weak compared to the stock tracks. Revolt is a game that in my eyes still holds up after all these years. Fond memories of the game have not been tarnished by time. Revolt is still fun to play, even though it's as hard as balls now as it was back in the day. If you want to try it out or you get the chance to play it, you can still play it on modern systems, however you might need to look for a very specific patch. Some patches work great on Windows 7, while on Windows 8 or 10 there are some issues, some caveats. But in summary, the game still looks, runs and performs very well on modern systems. My name is TRG and thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe, like or comment, or maybe tell me what do you want me to review next. My name is TRG and I will see you in the next video. Someday.